Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author. Rusty, what in the wide world of sports do you do right now? Are you taking a sabbatical from sports? Are you watching every World Cup match? Are you watching Little League Baseball? Like, what do you do?
I watch the Rangers until the bullpen blows up, and then I go do yard work. And,
So you make it 4 innings. I got it.
Yeah, I try to some nights I'll watch the whole game. Last night, not so much. So I tried to watch the United States team and the World Cup. Watched about 5 minutes, lost interest, and said, "Hey, go USA! They can lose without me."
Well, okay, if you mean Monday, because remember, there was more than one match, so you got to watch a lot if you tried to tune into each one. It was just the last one you didn't get to watch much of.
No, I didn't. I mean, that was the only one I watched, Lou. So,
Oh, come on. What's with you and your timing, dude?
It's, like I said before, it's, to me, I mean, I know a lot of people around the world love soccer. I'm just not one of them.
You know what? That's okay. The Louie Bellina show, which is me, because my name's on the title, right? I have a live and let live. If you want to watch World Cup, you watch World Cup. You don't, you don't. Same thing with NASCAR, women's basketball, whatever it is. If you enjoy it as a sport, you do it. But don't demand I do it too. And I'm the same way about the sports I love. I've never once demanded that someone like what I like.
Well, and I understand that there's a lot of people who must listen to me and go, "You watch or listen to basically 160 games a year of the Rangers?" Yep, I do. But that's what I like to do. And I turn it off a lot of times, and I go mow the yard with my headphones in, and that I kill two birds with one stone. I get something done, and I follow, this season is just so bizarre. I mean, because it feels like they should be 15 games out, and yet they're sitting right there. Same thing with the Astros. I mean, it's the exact same thing. From one game, one series to the next, you're like, okay, the Rangers went 7-3 on a road trip, and they come home and they can't beat the freaking Angels. It's just like they're 1-4 this year against the Angels. That makes no sense to me. And they gave up 13 runs last night. And by the way, Mike Trout, I don't even know why they ever pitched to him. He has more home runs against the Rangers than any other person who's ever walked the face of the earth.
Okay.
I mean, he's got
Sorry, go ahead.
50.
Okay. You mentioned your Rangers, right?
Yeah.
Your Rangers, my Astros. The Astros over the weekend have the greatest July 4th rally since America became independent. Yordan Alvarez is the greatest July 4th player. He's the only one in history to have 2 walk-offs on July 4th. In MLB history, by the way. Astros have won 9 straight on July 4th.
I like the kid being there, too.
Oh, yeah.
I love seeing him grab his kid there after the home run. That was awesome.
Okay. So, and Tampa's like one of the 3 best teams in the American League. So, the Astros do this, and I'm sitting there going like, yeah, go America. I'm like, they win the series. They're about to lose Saturday and get swept. And then you play the Nationals, and not a single starter goes over 4 innings. The offense is inept, and they look like the Bad News Bears playing baseball. Like, help me. This whole year is that manic for an Astros fan.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing. Last weekend, the Rangers went to Toronto, the AL champions last year, and swept 4 games. And then went to Cleveland in first place, took 2 out of 3. And then they come home and against a Tigers team that's 12 under, and they lose 2 out of 3. And then they lose last night 13-1 to the Angels. It's hard to believe that this team can be that inconsistent. I tell you what, the kind of a local note, I don't know if you knew this, but the Rangers got a player right now that they called up because of all their injuries. It's Cam Cauley. Are you familiar with who he is?
No.
Okay.
Cam Cauley?
Yeah, Cam Cauley. He's super fast. He's from the Austin area. He is Andy Richardson's nephew. You remember Andy Richardson?
Of course.
Production?
Of course.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool that there's that kind of connection there. But, there's a lot of they've got so many injuries. They're playing guys that I'm like, who's this again?
Oh, I thought you were going to.
It's just a couple.
Yeah. Go ahead. I thought you could finish the thought on that.
Well, it's like I just don't know who these guys are. Like it's kind of like last year when you were talking about the Astros. You're like, who are these guys?
Okay. The Astros are calling up players at the speed of light. They're about to get back all their old players. Here's the number one problem I said. They have their number 4. They have a 6-man rotation featuring 5 guys that are not very good number 4 starters.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, they score a lot of runs though, and I think depending on how the next 2 weeks go, I would love to see Corey Seager get back healthy again so that they could trade him. I don't think, if they keep him the rest of the year, he can veto any trade. And at this point, I just think he's so unreliable that if you can get him healthy, and there's a playoff team or a team that is a legit playoff team that needs a shortstop and can be a difference maker. I've seen him be an incredible difference maker. I've seen him be the MVP of the World Series, but that was also 3 years ago, and he's been on the IL 6 times the last 2 years. You can't count on the guy. And it's not like it's a hamstring anymore. It's back issues. And you know how bad back issues can be in baseball, especially for a guy who swings like he does.
Bad back issues can be eternal.
Yep.
That's it. Bad back issues can be eternal. And on any day, for a week, a month, and you can't put them on the IL because they might be able to play 2 days in a row. Awful. Nightmare.
Well, and they got him back for 1 day in Toronto, and he hits a home run, but then the next day, he goes back on the IL. And it's like that. He has been on the IL more often than he hasn't been. And, again, at 32, this is the beginning of the breakdown, right? I mean, Father Time is undefeated, and, he can be a really good player, but if there's going to be a team out there that's going to give him some prospects, they need to take advantage of it. And, I think that they could still possibly be a playoff team without him as long as they get Langford back and him getting going. And then they've got Cody Bradford, Jordan Montgomery, and Jack Leiter coming back after the All-Star break. So the pitching should be fine, but they've just got to find some hitters. And they've had Josh Young's been out too. And Josh Young has arguably been an All-Star this year. He's really improved so much with his strike zone awareness, not chasing balls that he used to. So without Young and without Langford, this offense is just, it's unrecognizable.
Okay. I talked to Joe. I talked to Joe Sheehan, and I speculate myself, guessculate about trade deadline moves. The Astros and Rangers should do nothing. They both need so much help. 1-2 players even aren't going to make a difference. Let's be real and honest about it. Don't make a move at the deadline. Don't mortgage your future. The only move, they need everything they have, and you can't gain enough because you don't have enough to give up, and you'd have to make so many moves to be legit. Like, don't make any moves. The moves they could make, they'll never make. The Astros need to get rid of Jeremy Pena. They're not going to re-sign him. They're going to lose him again like they lost Bregman and Tucker. The move, but that doesn't help you win this year. So don't make any moves.
Yeah, like I said, the only move I'd like to see if they can get Seager healthy, I'd like to see what kind of package they can get. Because, you're right. By the same token, if you get in the playoffs, you never know. And especially with the way the Astros score, you never know. If those pitchers get hot, I don't know. It's still so up in the air. It's still early July. I keep having to remind myself. I have tossed this team out in my family text so many times, like, well, that's it. And my sons always go, oh, yeah, now they're only a game and a half back. So, yeah, that's insurmountable, Dad.
It'll never happen. And that's the thing about being an Astros fan. One weekend I'm buying stock, and the next weekend I'm burning the whole team to the ground. I don't know what you want me to say. It's manic. I've not had a year like this in a long time.
Yeah, and the two teams play each other this weekend, so that ought to be interesting.
Okay. Tell me how you could even try and handicap this when it's a series that I think neither team deserves to win.
Well, I can only promise you this. I seriously doubt either team will get swept. So I think, they're not good enough to sweep. It's just like neither one of them. So I don't know. It's just after like I said, I've thrown this team under the table 6 feet deep several times, and then they wake up, and I'm like, okay, well, let's go, just like you.
You just guaranteed an Astros sweep. All right, I'm in. Astros will guarantee the boot. The greatest rivalry in all of sports. 2 teams walk in, 2 teams walk out. When the Astros and the Rangers play each other, it's the greatest rivalry in sports. Rusty, I wanted to throw something at you. I saw this this morning. I think it's one of the oddest questions I've come across a long time. And you're smarter than me, so you can help here. Should the CFP selection committee consider how much a program spent on its roster when evaluating teams?
Man, I don't think so. I mean, are you going to reward a team for spending more money? I mean, is that really logical? I don't know. I guess my answer, without really giving it a lot of thought, is no, they should not. What do you think?
Okay, and here's the thing. I saw this. I was busy this morning, prep, trying to deal with AC problems at my place. So I didn't have time to digest this hard, but here's my first instinct. I, in no universe, am going to penalize a team for spending money and playing the game and the system properly. No. Could I see maybe giving bonus points for a team for overcoming a financial deficit? Maybe. So I don't see in any way of penalizing. No, but maybe bonus points for overcome. Maybe. But in no way do I ever penalize. How's that? I know there's no penalty in my world, but maybe a bonus point if you, here you go. This is where Dave Bartu, where we could start doing, and because they do it already in pro sports, because we have total salaries and things like that, right?
Right.
So what I mean is this. If we once we realize what the unit value of everything is, we can look at someone's schedule and see what a win value is, and we could see what overvalue is. This is rotisserie baseball. This goes back freaking 40 years, right? And then we could see what a team for the money spent return on value was. And then, you can start looking at things like that later.
Well, that opens up a whole new topic, Lou. It's like, okay, collective bargaining. At some point in time, we're talking about pro sports now, with the players getting paid like they're getting paid. It's no longer an amateur sport. So you ought to have the collective bargaining to have a salary cap or to enforce certain things like the salary cap. Like, for example, I mean, the playoff system has to get to a point where it's not based on, the rankings anymore. They have to get to a point where there's some order to it. Like, for example, I mean, in Major League Baseball, we know how many of these teams are going to make the playoffs because they're set. And the Marlins happen to be the best team in baseball the last month. And, by the way, they don't spend a lot of money. So I root for them because the Dodgers are the evil empire, and they spend all kinds of money. And so it's fun for me as a baseball fan to watch the Marlins play so well, and my hope is that, maybe somehow the Marlins, with their very, very low budget and their low salaries, end up beating the Dodgers in the playoffs. That probably won't happen, but that's the way I kind of look at how teams spend. So I'm with you. There's no way a team at this point, because there's no cap, should be penalized for spending any amount of money. But, I mean, I'd like to see some kind of reward for some team that does it. But then that probably opens up teams that don't belong in the playoffs, like we saw 2 teams last year that did not belong in the playoffs.
Okay. I know they didn't belong compared to other teams, but I'm going to state this again like I did last year. I actually have no problem with reserving a spot for a G6 team. 2 is dumb. 2 is never. The ACC shouldn't have sucked, though. Can we blame the ACC for this? Do we have to blame them? Can I blame the ACC?
Yeah, absolutely. I blame the ACC, too. But
okay.
It's just...
The system should never have 2 Gs, right? And that was the ACC's fault. I'm not mad at G for putting 2 Gs in, but the playoffs should never have 2 of them. And when we go to 24, we're not going to care about that stuff anymore, by the way. We're going to have too many teams. We won't care if there's 4 Gs. You know, the opening round is going to be 13 through 24 anyway. That's just that's how it's going to go.
Yep, that's where it's headed, I believe. And then I think at some point in time, we're going to see a 64-team grouping of some group that, you know, there's not going to be 5 conferences anymore. It's going to be, 4 16-team leagues, and, you know, the first however many that come out of each league, that's the way it's going to be, much like the pro system.
Yeah. Again, okay. The pro system, 6 weeks long, awful teams playing, wild card is fun, and then reality kicks in and teams get destroyed. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, we shall see, but I think this is going to be so much more of a pro-oriented structure down the road. Whether that's 5 years, 10 years, I truly believe there's going to be some kind of organization outside the NCAA where the haves are going to form their own grouping, and the have-nots are going to have to do their own thing as well.
I'm fascinated by that question because it opens up. We already don't know what the committee really does. There is no consistency. Strength of schedule should be God. They don't care. Head-to-head can, but only when they choose to be impactful. So is this going to be another wild card thing that they only use when they want to? And if they do, this whole system is just destroyed. Hey, Rusty, quick timeout. Let's hang out some more.
Let's do it.
Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author, hanging out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. Have you ever just like, man, I need a metal building for my space, my property, my land, but you want custom and from the ground up? I know somebody, D4 Land Services, and go to their website. The whole world is on a website somewhere. Go to d4landservices.com. This is the Louie Bellina Show. Thursday on the Zone.
Visit zone1150.com and get the podcast for TexAgs Live, the Louie Bellina Show, and Chip Howard Sports Talk. The podcasts are also available anywhere and everywhere you get your favorite podcasts.
It is Thursday. I'm not alone. I'm hanging out with friends. Rusty Burson. He's an Aggie historian and he's an author. How can he do all that? I don't know. I never ask. Rusty rejoining us on the D4 Land Services hotline. Man, Rusty, that Astros Rangers talk made me tired. I'm not going to lie to you. My mind is still spinning because, again, it's the whole manic. It's the whole manic part of it. Okay, I'm going to go back to stick with college football if I can. I don't know if you've been hanging out listening at all this week. I've been fired up. Big 12 Media Days. Next week, ACC, SEC is just down the road. Where are you? Have you been to find any fire energy yet, or you still need the players to report, or SEC Media Days?
Yeah, I need the players to report before I get really excited. It's still a long way off, and I know you do this every day, so this is your job. I used to do this. I can't imagine how. Sometimes I listen to the Go Hour on my way to work, and I can't imagine how Owen does that every single day, talk about the same thing over and over and over. But it's always college football. I love your podcast. Always college football. That is fantastic. Whenever I'm in the vehicle and that comes on, I'm glued to it. That's
He's talking
really
straight
good.
ball, isn't he? Straight ball.
Yeah, I love it. Always college football. That is, he gets it, and it's very analytical and it's very unbiased, and I just think it's really good. But I need the players to report before I get really excited.
No, that's fair. Look, I think that's the norm, actually. I just know for me, man, so I do this for a living and all that good blah, blah, blah stuff, but I'm a fan in my heart, man. I spend the whole year thinking and drooling and can't wait, and then you just got to give me a couple of drops, and I get pretty fired up about this. That's not a lie. I do. I'm one of those flowers that'll live in the desert.
Yeah, I understand, and like I said, that's your job. So it's a good thing that you get so excited about it so early because You got to stoke that fire all year long.
Yeah, I do. Hey, I wanted to throw something at you. I have found the 250th coaches off-season rankings of coaches in the league.
Okay.
You know, and all of them have been SEC, where it's like Elko 5 and then blah, blah, blah. This was a national ranking, and they had Mike Elko as the 8th best coach in the country. And what fascinated me about that, yeah. And a year ago, this is an ESPN one. I don't know. There's 7 million ESPN experts, okay? But it was from ESPN.com. This is my takeaway. So Elko was 8 in the country. Year ago, he was not ranked at all. So that's how far he came. This season impressed ESPN.com. But also, so Elko is 5 by all accounts in the SEC. I think he should be 4. But then he's 8 in the country, too. It's incredible how much people are starting to catch in / buy Texas A&M.
Well, who are the 4 SEC coaches ahead of him?
They're not. That's the funny part. If you look at most rankings, actually, here you go. Let me tell you who they have. The standard is Elko 5, but with this one, Elko's 8 national. Here's their rankings for this one specifically exactly, okay? Signetti 1, sure, why not?
Okay.
Kirby Smart 2, Ryan Day 3, Marcus Freeman 4.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Dan Lanning 5.
Okay.
Sark is 6.
I don't know about that one either, but okay.
I think it is now, but if you're doing the stock up, stock down, which direction the wind is blowing, that's 2 different arrows for Elko and Sark.
Yeah, I mean, there's one of those guys made the playoff last year.
And one has had 3 straight years that his grade has went down on Dave Bartu College Football Matrix. And
right.
They had to go out and spend an extra $25 million for him to try and save his job.
Exactly right.
So, and Lane Kiffin is 7, and Elko is 8.
Yeah, I was wondering where Lane Kiffin will be. And it's time for Lane Kiffin to really prove he's a great coach because, I mean, he did a great job at Ole Miss, and he's very high profile, but there's no excuses for not, contending for a national championship at LSU. So we'll see if he's really that good. And again, Elko was fantastic last year. And like you and I talked about before, is like what we can't see is A&M go back to 8-4. That just would be such a huge step backwards. They need to win early, get some momentum going, and they need to be 6-0 before that schedule gets really, really tough.
Oh, yeah. No, look, you're never going to draw an easy SEC schedule. You have LSU and you have Texas, and they're always going to be a permanent rival. You're going to play them every year. That's always going to be one of the toughest permanent rival matchups, period. So, therefore, there's not going to be no SEC easy schedule for A&M. I take a look. With that, it's actually when you start setting up these quad kind of things, it's impossible for A&M to have an easy SEC schedule.
Yeah, while you've got that listing out, tell me where Brent Venables is ranked on that list.
They just stopped at 10, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
Kind of cool.
Okay, yeah. Because I've seen a lot of projections. The OU is going to beat A&M this year, and I'm like, well, I don't know that. Again, a lot of these preseason projections where they go head-to-head each week, and I think Brent Venables, even though last year he was good, still has a lot to prove. Because
they went to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
They won a game, right?
He'd been very disappointed up until last year, so I just want to see if he can continue that. Because I thought he was on the hot seat entering last year.
Oh, no. I 100% yet again. It's just one of those where, he won. No, they lost in the college football playoff, didn't they? They lost the first game. They played Ole Miss. No, I'm trying to remember. What did they do in the CFP? I know they made it.
Yeah.
Did they win?
They hosted on campus, and I want to say that they did win their game, but that's been a long time ago. I thought he was going to be a great hire when Oklahoma took him from Clemson. As far back as when he was at Kansas State, and I thought he was going to be a really good head coach, and he may still be, but I still want more than just 1 year proof, and I feel that's the same way Elko is looking. He's got to continue this upward trajectory.
Oh no, and look, I've talked about this. A&M history is once every, I guess it's 6 to 7 years. There's this one shining moment, but it's once every 6 to 7 years. There's Jimbo
had
the
that
year.
one. Yeah.
So
someone had the year.
Okay, and you had the Johnny Manziel year. It's once every 6 to 7. They do something to make you believe, fill up the well, and then they go back to being 8-4 for 6 to 7 years.
Right, and Mike Sherman had the year in 2009, when they got on that roll. And then, I guess it was 2010 when they got on that roll. And then 2011 is when they went 6-6, and they blew the lead 6 times in the second half. So, yeah, Sherman had the year. Someone had the year. Jimbo had the year. So, yeah, it needs to be more than just the year. And that's where, Elko can really distinguish himself from the last 3 coaches for sure. You could even say Fran had a pretty good year too. He had a year where if he had any guts and went for it on 4th down instead of kicking field goals against Oklahoma and Nebraska, that they could have won the Big 12, but they didn't. And so, but nevertheless, it was a good year.
Okay, in my head right now, things are kind of chuckling because, Coach Fran did enough on the other side that it don't matter. It didn't matter. And with these other coaches, that one shining moment again. Oh, and then 8-4, and then just 8-4,
right.
And then just 8-4, just not losing more than you win, and then not even making progress in the other years. It built nothing.
It's not just 8-4. It's 8-4 with UCLA, or it's 6-6 with Appalachian State, and so it's or the Arkansas State, losing at home to Arkansas State. It's just not just the record being bad. It's like the embarrassing kind of losses, and those things are hard to overcome. They're hard to forget. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying, okay, the pain points. You had to have the pain points mixed in too.
Yeah, so it's not losing games close that you're played really well. It's like, again, it's losing at home to Appalachian State. It's losing a game that was almost mathematically impossible for you to lose against UCLA. And, it's opening your career at home and losing to Arkansas State. Those things they last with you. And fortunately, Mike Elko doesn't have one of those things. And so
why'd you say that? What did you just do? What did you just do?
I didn't curse anybody.
I'm not going to the Citadel game. I am not going to the Citadel game.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think he's beyond that.
Well, you're going alone. Rusty, anything special this weekend? What are you up to?
No, nothing special. Just low key. Next weekend, I got my kids in town. 30th birthday for my son, and who just got married, and my daughter's gonna be 27. So, that means I'm getting old, really old.
You're only as well. Yeah, you are. Anyway, talk to you next Thursday. Be awesome, dude.
See you, buddy.
Later. Rusty Burson, Aggie Historian and Author, joins me Thursdays here on the Louie Bellina Show. Joins me on the D4 Land Services Hotline. I'll be right back. It is Thursday. Yeah, I already said it. It's the Louie Bellina Show on the Zone.
Blending Southern culture with college football.
You guys are awesome.
Music, sport commentary, and more. It's Marty and McGee.
Marty and McGee.
Saturday mornings from 6 to 9 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.